I think time is on. Are we ready, Paul? Yes. Okay, thank you. We have a quorum, right? Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is regular open meeting of the United Laguna Woods Mutual Board of Directors, California Nonprofit Mutual Benefit Corporation. And today's date is Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. Time now is 9:30 a.m. at the boardroom, and also virtual meeting is available. Laguna Woods Village Community Center, 24351 El Toro Road, Laguna Woods, California. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct the regular United Mutual Board meeting in accordance with the Civil Code 4930 and was hereby noticed in accordance with Civil Code 4920. Okay, let us have a pledge of allegiance to the flag, led by Director Prater.
Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, let's approve the agenda. Is there any objection to approve the agenda as written? No objection, so approved. All right, approval of meeting minutes. April 8, April 24, agenda prep meeting and also special open meeting. Is there any objection to approve the meeting minutes? Is there any correction, addition, subtraction? Nothing, so approved. Thank you. Well, I'd like to announce one of our board members has resigned, Nancy Carson, as a date of May 1st. So we have one vacancy. And I really like to be thankful to her for her hard work and her talent, which contributed on our board for last year and a half. So we need to fill that one vacancy. I think we will open the nomination on Friday, May 16th. Applicants must be a United Mutual members, and members may obtain an application and instruction by visiting the Laguna Village Community Center reception desk, and they will call upstairs. And then our secretary will come down and gave some application form and information. So completed applications and candidate statements are due to our secretary no later than 5 p.m. Friday, May 30th. Interview will take place on Friday, June the 6th at 11 a.m. in the Community Center boardroom, and also virtually via Zoom. So we need a real dedicated member, and also the one volunteering his or her time and energy and talent to the board. We are really, really welcoming you all. So please consider this opportunity and be our team. Well, like during last Thursday, our membership hearing committee, there was a little, the break time, and our vice president, she's a member of the committee, and checked the news, and then she shouted, "Oh my goodness, we have a new American Pope." Well, as an American citizen, myself also, my first reflection and response was very happy. Wow, American become a Pope? Well, I think for the whole world, it was a very unexpected and surprising event, and that made a real big news. Right after that news broke out, I went home and I turned on TV, and then I watched news. And it was all over the place that news was on. And then there was one international, the foreign media commentator was commenting that, wow, finally we have an American Pope, but he is least American. What does that mean? Well, then he began to explore more, explain the situation. Yes, he's a real American, born in Chicago, and White Sox fan. His ethnic heritage are, though, Italian, French, and Spanish, and even Haitian. And later, 20 years, he went down South America and served as a missionary. And he speaks English, Latin, Italian, Spanish, French, German fluently. What it means, he is American, however, he is very global. That's why the people think that he is well qualified to be a pope. Even though I'm not Catholic and many of us are not Catholic, but we know that the pope is a symbol of spiritual leadership. Finally, American, we become a spiritual leader of the world. We've been leader in many other areas, but people did not regard as a spiritual leadership. Well, we are excited. Well, we know what, if we are talking about global, we, Laguna Woods Village residents, we live in global world. Remember last year, our director, Georgiana, and our former moderator, Allison, they had a project for our board on our Unite Mutual resident. We had a survey and finding out what our Unite Mutual residents' backgrounds are, where we're from, what kind of interests we have, what kind of issues we are, what concerns we are, so on. Geographically, our residents are all from 5 continents, from all over the world, including Antarctica. Can you believe it? So we are living in this global world. So to celebrate, the president of GLF and president of United Mutual and Third Mutual, we invite you to a diverse and unique community event on Tuesday, September the 30th, from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. in Clubhouse 2. This event is designed to be a vibrant cultural celebration with the global to bring residents together through shared food, music, and traditions. We envision this as an annual event that will grow in both participation and impact year after year. This celebration will feature cultural booths hosted by resident clubs, 3 stages with live entertainment, including a contracted band and resident performers, a variety of food experiences through ethnic food trucks. Attendee will receive a food passport, allowing them to sample a range of international dishes. The intent is to create a welcoming, festive atmosphere where residents can explore and enjoy different cultures through music, performances, and, of course, cuisine. Attendees will purchase a set of tickets in advance or at the event which they can then redeem for tasting items from the food trucks. Cost will be $20 for 4 tickets. Each ticket is good for food sampling. And details for where to purchase tickets will be released soon. The Village Community Fund will be on site to accept donations, and we are also exploring sponsorship to help underwrite expenses. The event aligns with the International Day of Peace, observed on September 21, and promotes the values of understanding, cooperation, and mutual respect. Residents will be encouraged to dress the traditional attire, proudly representing their cultural heritage. This event has the potential to not only entertain, but also educate and unite us in a meaningful way. So please mark your calendar, okay? September, 4:30 to 7:30. In the evening, it's going to be hot, and we're going to be outdoor, and also we will set up the booth inside the clubhouse too. So it will be a very, very amazing event. So please remember and participate. Thank you. I will complete my chair report. Okay, now this is open forum time. 3 minutes per speaker is allowed. At this time, members only may address the Board of Directors regarding items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of this Board of Directors. The Board reserves the right to limit the total amount of time allotted for the open forum to 30 minutes as a whole. A member may speak only once during the forum, and speakers may not give their time to other people, no audio or video recording by attendees, and no rude or threatening comments. Members can attend the meeting by joining the Zoom link, which is on the agenda, or call or email meeting@vmsinc.org to have your message read during the open forum. Okay, any open forum speakers?
Yes, we have roughly 5 open speakers. First speaker is Chris Collins.
Good morning. Chris Collins, 3306Q.
Good morning.
And I'm here with an update on the work of the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village, which we do on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. And this one's about planning for the unpredictable. The fires in LA were a wake-up call, but they are contained now and the rains have come, but that does not mean we can ignore the threat of wildfires, even here in Laguna Woods Village. The foundation is partnering with VMS to help residents prepare for the possibility of wildfires and other emergencies. A new television interview series started in April, and this will focus on various aspects of emergency preparedness. So like many of you, the foundation board members became very concerned about the wildfires. They were upsetting. And how that could affect, us here in the village. So the big question was, how can we prepare? So the first interview happened in April, and it was with Eric Nunez, the village director of security. And these will be going forward for a while now. They'll be on Wednesdays, and they're at 4 p.m., and then they repeat on Saturdays at 12, all through April, May, June. And the interviews can also be accessed at the foundation's website, which is the foundation of LagunaWoodsVillage.org under the special tab, Disaster Preparedness. So Chief Nunez, he discussed the relationship with Orange County Fire Authority and the sheriff during these emergencies, and what to expect if an evacuation is required, and steps that you can take to protect yourself. So the televised series is part of a public education partnership of the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village with VMS, and also includes media releases, public service announcements, and an emergency preparedness brochure. So the topics that are going to be covered are a go bag, assessing the alert systems, and how to use your smartphone to help in an emergency. So in May, we have the captain of Cal Fire, and he's the officer that's here in Orange County Fire Authority, and that's ultimately what we learned by the foundation, and you may know, but it's interesting because Cal Fire, they're the ones that really take over in the case of an emergency. So if you do have any questions about planning for the unpredictable, please contact the foundation at comline.com, or you can go to our website, which is the foundation of lagunawoodsvillage.org. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Catherine Bryans.
Good morning, Catherine Bryans, 392B, Avenida Castilla. I'm here in regards to the article in the Globe in April 24th, comments made by a director of this mutual. And I found them personally offensive as an EV owner. And I think that a cautionary tale for board members is when you make those kind of comments, you are speaking for the board. We've always been told, as a director, you always speak for the board. And I found them exceedingly offensive, and I'm sad that they were made. That was it. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Dr. Elizabeth Romano.
Thank you for your time. I'm a corporate compliance CEO, and how we manage our money here is out of line with the federal guidelines. This is how we keep our money in bags, okay? It is not earning any interest. It's also not tracked, okay? This is not okay. We've all worked too hard for our retirement to have it placed in bags and passed around. So, you know, that is one thing. That really needs to be corrected. That's a violation of federal law, and it is unbecoming, okay, of you, the board, of not knowing what the law is and following it. Further, I want to respond to being removed from my house and having my papers taken away from me. That's a felony, okay? And my tax papers were taken and locked up, and they're over at the, I had to track it down and find out it was removed and put in the police station. I was pulled out of my house in the evening with only my pajamas on by a squad of the security guys. This is not okay. This is elder abuse. It's frightening. They abused my animals. It was rough, okay? This isn't the way you treat people here. That's it. You know, we need to do something about this. This is for the whole community. A lot of money is missing. And what happens is what I overheard is one of the guys said, oh, don't worry about your missing money. You know, that wasn't 1.2 million, 5 million. You know, somebody's got a bag with 1.7. That's not okay.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Madam Chair?
Next speaker is Andre Toring.
Okay, go ahead.
No. I think, okay, you can respond after. Yeah.
Good morning. I know the board members are working hard. I was one of you, and I was trying to do the best. I understand there are things that you don't know, they don't have experience. But our board members, HOA members, have a lot of experience, want to share with the board. And I want the board to hope the board will listen to us, and like the one just talk about illegal procedure for the money. I don't know if there's any SOPs that VMS need to follow, and the board is responsible for making sure there are SOPs. So I want to talk a little bit about job descriptions of the board. First, you need to establish a vision statement. You have a vision statement, and establish directives based on to meet the vision goal. Establish oversight to measure directive effectiveness, whether it's working or not. Develop a management job description based on oversight laws we talked about and in the industry best practices. Okay, and hire qualified vendors to meet management and staff job description. Do we have a job description like that for VMS and their staff? Have you reviewed that? Okay. Do you give them any directive on what you need to do? Okay. And then establish staff performance evaluation according to job description. I'm sure every one of you have been doing done the performance evaluation in the past. But have you ever done that? Have you ever developed the performance evaluation in your career? Okay. If not, you need to find some expert that consulting helping you to establish that, and hold management accountable based on their job description. Are you doing that? Okay, performance evaluation, and review vendor SOPs based on job description and industry best practices and laws. And also, you need to establish SOPs for review the SOPs based on the execution. So hold staff execution accountable based on their SOPs. We frequently see them not doing their job right, and there are all kinds of excuses. But shouldn't be any excuse about if they have, there's a SOP based on that. It's either training not done, or the SOP is incomplete. And establish a continuous review of job descriptions and SOPs to meet evolving oversights and industry best practice. Ensure transparency of vendor performances, share with HOA members, and also ensure transparency of board member votes. Okay. These things cannot be hidden. We frequently found out that board members will say one thing and then vote the other way. Okay, that's not allowable. Okay, and superior support oversight and performance evaluations for directives. Okay, I don't have any time anymore, but there are a lot of things that I just talked about the board is not doing. Okay, the board needs to review its job and say, what are we supposed to do? What is our job description? How do we
Thank you. Time's
complete
up.
the job and do our job?
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Next speaker is Marie Collins.
Good morning, honorable United Board members and residents and staff. Isn't it a great day to wake up alive in Laguna Woods Village?
Yes.
It's a great place to live, is it not? And these people who work so hard, and the other boards, I want to echo President Choi's invitation that if you have the time, it takes a lot of time and certainly a lot of dedication. Please consider running and devoting your time to your own home to see what you can do to help in Laguna Woods. That's my greeting this morning. That's my sincere feelings, as you know, okay? But the reason I'm here is to represent 4 of the residents in my building, Building 86. I'm sorry, I'm Marie Collins, 86P as in Paul. But the initial person who came to me was Deborah August in 86T as in Tom. This year, this is a 2-story building, okay? We have stairs. Now, the upstairs units, like where I live, and I love living there, and I love the stairs because it keeps me going, okay? But as you get older, and some of our residents on the same level, the 2nd floor with no elevator, okay? Now, our apartments were built with light switches and cabinets in the kitchen ready for wheelchair people. So the only reason the organization of United is not required by law to put in elevators is that it was grandfathered because we're so old. Okay, I mean the buildings are so old and the people. Okay, but anyway, these 4 people upstairs in the 2nd stair put together, either one of them or all of them put together $5,000 to have a feasibility study done to see if and where they could put in an elevator. It all went beautifully. The elevator is now finished. It's been sitting there for several days, maybe weeks. And what we found out Friday from Southern California Ed, is that that building does not receive enough electricity to run that elevator.
Oh, no.
Now, it's not a matter of pointing
no.
fingers, but something needs to be done about, they paid
Okay.
for a feasibility study somewhere along the line, and the people who built it, I'm familiar with those workmen. They're good workmen. The first thing that was done was to put in an electric box specifically for that elevator. So we would have thought it was great. So I just would like to ask you to look into this and, you know, find out where we went. Somebody went wrong. Find out where we went wrong, and let's just correct it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Any more speakers? No more speakers. Okay. Do we have any response to open forum speakers? Siobhan, do you have any? No, I don't. Okay. All right. All right.
I do.
Sue.
I'm Sue Quam, one of the directors, and we do not collect money in paper bags. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that.
Okay.
And, you know, we'll respond to all the other things at
All
the
right.
next meeting.
Thank you. Any more response? All right.
Well, in response to Marie's comment,
Okay.
Siobhan, can we direct this towards you, 86P, to review the feasibility and the electricity supply? Thank you.
Right away. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the speakers. All right. Let's move on to response to past open forum speakers. Director Costello, you are to do this job, right?
And I will.
Right.
Our first concern last month was from Ms. Myrnaz Hajati of 3790 Avenida Castilla regarding damage restoration reimbursement letters sent to her father from 2023. The damage restoration event occurred back in 2021. Ms. Hajati is unable to make contact with the staff and is questioning the fees. Her father is on a fixed income and is requesting if the board may look at waiving certain fees or they be placed on a payment plan. The response is that a member hearing was requested and held. Finance will be reaching out to this member to discuss a payment plan option. Second is Ms. Julian Godwin of 458A Avenida Sevilla regarding complaint of unkept landscape adjacent to the post office near Clubhouse 3. Our response is that landscape will inspect the area and make possible corrections. And finally, Chris Collins gave an update on behalf of the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village. It was duly noted.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to item number 9, CEO report.
Thank you, Honorable President, members of the board. It's my honor this morning to provide key updates for the village. First, I would like to begin with an update on the high-speed internet service project. As you will recall, since you participated, this was approved by corporate members about a week ago, and GRF signed a contract with Ting Internet following that approval. This project will bring a high-speed fiber network to Laguna Woods Village. The network will deliver speeds of up to 2 gigabytes per second, allowing households of Wi-Fi devices to connect seamlessly. It also includes a partnership with DirecTV Stream to bring residents more ways to enjoy their favorite TV shows and movies. Construction will start next month. There will be an emphasis on resident communication. Again, construction officially kicks off on Monday, June 9th. The first phase of the work will begin in the southeast area of the community, specifically around gates 1 through 4. Crews will identify existing utility lines to ensure everything is installed safely, dig to place hand-hole boxes, small underground access points that help manage fiber connections, and place highly visible signage in the active construction zones. Signs will move as work progresses, so you will always know what's happening nearby. You can learn more about Ting and your internet service by visiting the address on the screen before you. And this was also published in last Friday's What's Up in the Village. Here you can learn about how the fiber network works and why it's the fastest, most reliable option. Also, what internet speed means and how it impacts your online experience. Tips on Wi-Fi frequencies, routers, and maximizing performance. Browse frequently asked questions and submit feedback about your construction experience. And dive deeper into Ting's services and how they're tailored to our community. Switching gears, asbestos question and answers are now available. When a planned town hall meeting with the South Coast Air Quality Management District fell through, The city and manor alterations gathered resident questions and submitted them directly to their quality management district. They now have the full responses available online at bit.ly/4JXYUG1, the address shown on your screen. This information covers items such as asbestos surveys, Rule 1403, and much more. As a reminder, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the VMS Social Service Division supports resident independence and well-being by providing assessments of physical, emotional, and social needs, personalized referrals, care planning and emotional support, cognitive health screenings, and more. For these and other confidential services, please call Social Services at 949-597-4267. We're also pleased to announce that Social Services is continuing its partnership with the Council on Aging Southern California. This partnership has been in place since 2019. The Council on Aging focuses on isolated or at-risk residents facing health risks tied to social isolation. I'm pleased to announce that the Council on Aging social worker, Jenna Bonaventura, joined Social Services on March 10th. Jenna provides case management, emotional support, psychoeducation, and care coordination. Her services are provided in collaboration with our social services workers and are provided free to all of our residents. Landscaping Services has announced a new 30-day ticket closure policy that has been implemented in coordination with resident services. It consists of no new tickets being opened for areas already scheduled for maintenance within the next 30 days. This prevents duplicate efforts and improves workload efficiency. Residents will be notified by email if their ticket is closed and the team is arriving within 2 weeks. Most importantly, there are very extensive maintenance schedules available on the village website. If you look under Services, Landscaping, and pull up the landscaping calendar, you can see exactly when your area will be serviced and what type of service it will be receiving. Switching to communications and following up on some of Chris Collins's comments earlier, following the earthquake in mid-April, we've received questions about how the village communicates about earthquakes. Our earthquake communication strategy focuses on preparedness and realistic expectations with clear, calm, action-focused post-event messaging. This strategy aligns with public safety best practices. And as a reminder, VMS does not issue real-time alerts during shaking. We do promote common applications such as MyShake for early warning and Alert OC for updates. We do use Code Red for post-event emergency follow-up. Following an earthquake, residents can expect the following. If there is minimal impact, a brief update via email, website, TV6, and social media confirming no damage or service interruptions will be issued. If there is significant impact, multi-channel updates with key information such as gate closures, safety, and service changes will be made. And again, if there is an emergency, Code Red will be used for urgent, time-sensitive alerts to our residents. As a reminder, the 2026 version 1 budget meetings are approaching. Shown on the screen are the upcoming meetings, beginning with the capital budget review for GRF, that is tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 p.m. United's first meeting focuses on maintenance and construction, and that will take place on May 22nd at 1:30 p.m. here in the boardroom. There's also a United Landscape meeting scheduled for June 2nd at 9:30 a.m. in the boardroom. The 2026 reservation lottery is about to begin. This allows residents to reserve 2026 dates at village facilities for celebrations, special club events, and more. Please pick up your lottery cards in the Recreation Office starting Thursday, May 15th, or email reservation requests to recreation@vmsinc.org. Please complete lottery cards requests to the Recreation Office by 5 p.m. on Monday, June 16th. Participants will be notified of secured reservations by September 1st. This is a reminder that the annual termite fumigation program is underway. It's scheduled for May through November. The program targets dry wood termites in inaccessible areas. 49 United buildings are scheduled this year. Please check the community website for additional information about the fumigation program. And lastly, concrete repair work is scheduled to begin mid-May, so just about now, and is scheduled for the following locations. The first 4 locations shown on the chart before you are in United, cul-de-sacs 73, 46, and 29, and then Avenida Castilla. So please take a look at the village website or what's up in the village to see the dates of these repairs. And that's my update this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any question for Siobhan? No question. Thank you very much. Okay, now our consent calendar. Agenda item number 10. All matters listed under the consent calendar are recommended for action by committees and will be enacted by the board by one motion. In the event that an item is removed from the consent calendar by members of the board, such item shall be subject of further discussion and action by the board. We have A through F. Is there any item that we need to abstract from it? Yes?
Madam President.
Yes.
I would like to pull out the update of the committee assignments, just because we need to remove Nancy Carlson on the committees and then do temporary shifts in the chairmanship with her vacancy. I know you all are working on.
Yeah, we are working on it.
On
Yeah,
it.
okay, we will
Okay.
remove item number F.
Yeah.
And is there any motion to approve?
Madam Chair, I
Yes.
think that should be done at our next meeting.
Yeah, okay.
So we should keep it on the consent calendar right now. But
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that. We usually do it during the closed session and next meeting, so we just go
Okay,
ahead and include
all
it.
right, that's fine.
So, yeah, then we will just have one motion to accept it, right? Okay? Any objection? No objection. Okay, so approved. Let's move on to 11. Item 11, unfinished business. A, disciplinary update report. Do we have any staff person to report, make a report? Okay. Okay, then do we just, can we just approve as report submitted on agenda item number 11A? Okay, as written. There's not much change, and it's getting even down. The disciplinary report number is down, which is good news. So any objection to approve as submitted? No objection. Then it's adopted, approved. Thank you. Okay, where's the next item? Is number B, 11B, entertain a motion to approve an increase to the annual corporate electric vehicle charge fee from $240 to $2,636 effective date. 11B, do we, let's see, 11B, okay. We need to read the resolution first, right? So,
Yes.
Madam Secretary,
Yes.
pro tem today. Maggie is not here today, so our second vice president, Director Sue Kwam, will be the secretary today.
For today.
Thank you.
Okay, is plug-in electric vehicles, annual fee for use of 120-volt outlets in carports. Whereas the state of California and the U.S. government continue to offer incentives encouraging residents to purchase plug-in electric vehicles, PEVs, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and promote environmental sustainability, and whereas United Mutual has previously permitted PEV owners to utilize 120-volt outlets in common areas under a $240 annual fee structure established in 2016. And whereas the current annual EV charge does not reflect the actual cost of electricity consumed by EV owners within the community, and whereas at the March 25th, 2025 Finance Committee meeting, the committee approves staff's recommendation to increase the annual carport electric vehicle charge from $240 to $636, effective June 1st, 2025. based on usage assumptions. And whereas electric vehicle users who prepay the current annual fee through December 31st, 2025, prior to May 13th, 2025, will not be subject to the increased fee until January 1st, 2026. Now therefore be it resolved on May 13th, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby authorizes to carry out this resolution as written, that all plug-in electric vehicles owned by residents of United Mutual shall be assessed an annual electric vehicle usage fee of $636. 1, every PEV must be registered through the automobile registration process and obtain a decal from resident services that must be visibly displayed on the inside lower corner of the driver's rear window at all times while charging from mutual carport outlets. An annual January to December electricity usage fee set by the United Board will be required for every PEV registered. This fee may be prorated for PBEs registered during the year. This fee is set at $636 per year or $53 per month. Charging must occur in compliance with posted guidelines to avoid overloading circuits. Residents are encouraged to coordinate with neighbors and stagger charging times to prevent circuit breaker trips. Recommended amperage draw is no more than 8 amps, and if more than 2 vehicles are using a bank of circuits, each vehicle should limit to 5 amps or less. Owners of PEVs are solely responsible for maintenance of the vehicles and any associated charging equipment. No modifications may be used to mutual outlets, circuit breakers, or wiring without proper authorization. Owners seeking to use high-voltage charging must comply with board-approved alteration standard, Section 41, and shall be required to apply for a permit and make necessary arrangements with the electrical service provider, currently SCE, for installation of a separate service panel and conduit and appropriate electrical outlet. In such an event, vehicle registrations will not be required. Resolve further that Resolution 0116-112, adopted on December 13, 2016, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move this resolution.
Is there any second? Okay.
Madam-
There's a second.
I'll
Discussion?
second.
Okay.
I'll second the motion, but I will have another motion that this resolution be tabled and sent back to committee.
Well, we have a motion and
And a second.
so we have to the approve or deny. And Tony, there's just a
Yes,
minute.
I
doesn't
can't
go to-
approve this because it's very convoluted, and we do not have the, I've been involved with people in our cul-de-sac and other cul-de-sacs where they can't charge their EV. There's not enough voltage, not enough time, so it should be an at-will service, and we cannot provide an at-will service for people charging their cars. When you need gas, you get in your car, you go gas it up, you get back in your car, go home. That service, we cannot provide the service, so it's not an at-will service, and I think it leads us to maybe some exposure. So I can't vote for this. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yes, Tom.
Yeah, I second
Right.
Charlie's motion to refer back to committee.
Okay.
And that would
All right.
supersede the
All right.
main motion.
Okay.
Yes, because...
Just a minute.
Okay.
Just Charlie's motion to refer back to the committee superseded. So we are going to work on that motion. But do we hear from anybody speak to that motion or not? No. Okay.
I'd like to ask Charlie to amend his motion to refer back to committee and allow the residents that are here to speak on the
Okay.
item to speak today.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so Charlie's motion is to refer this motion back to the committee. We will reconsider whole issues, but if there is any residents who wants to speak, to or against or anything related to this issue, you can now come to speak. Is there
Okay,
any?
so we actually have 13 speakers.
Okay, 13 speakers.
I don't know
All
if you
right.
wanna-
All right, thank you. We are ready to hear.
You want to limit that to two?
Yes,
2 minutes?
Point of order.
right?
I think we only speak to the referring back to committee
Right.
a motion now. That's the only discussion.
I know.
And not
But we need-
about the EV itself right now.
Right. Okay. Well,
And then after that motion, then you can,
okay. All right.
then it can be
Let's
spoken.
speak to the motion. I mean, committee. Is there any point that you want to make? Speak to the motion that relate back to the committee. Yes.
I'd like to know why you want this
Okay.
referred back to committee. Let's open this up.
There are figures that have not, sorry. There are figures in the committee that did not get figured in between different models, exclusively to all-electric, hybrid, and golf cart. So we need to take care of these different
Okay.
models and not lump them into one
Okay.
big sum.
All right. Any other members comment regarding referring back to the committee? Okay, Tony?
Madam Chair, I think we're talking about charges here, right? We're just talking about charges, and my thing is, we can't, we're not in a position to be able to charge anything.
That's
We
a
can't
different
provide
point.
We can't provide the service.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
But yet we are. People are charging their vehicles.
Right.
People can't charge, that's my point. They can't charge.
Some, okay.
They can't charge when they want to, but
So it's
people are
not an
charging
at-will
their
service.
vehicles in the carport. I'm not saying that we shouldn't refer it back, but you're blatantly saying people aren't charging their vehicles. I'm saying we have over 500 EV users that are charging their
That's
vehicles
not
in
what
their
I said.
carport.
I have experience where people can't charge their EV because they're in competition with golf carts. I've been there. And in my
Okay,
cul-de-sac,
if there is no more referring back to committee, yes, Sue?
Madam President, I would encourage you to look at that 7,000 mile as well, when it goes back to committee. I think many people are concerned about they don't drive that amount, and perhaps that could be staged over a number of years once you get the data. But that's just a recommendation.
Okay, all right. Murat?
I also would like to recommend to the committee that they would consider looking at individual consumption, basically looking at the digital odometers and potentially determining a price per person based on their own mileage and not on some kind of average that could penalize people who are underusing the mileage.
All right, thank you. Any more discussion among the members of the board? Otherwise, then we will hear from the resident because,
No, we
during
need to vote.
last town hall meeting,
we
there are
need
a
to
lot
vote.
of residents come back. Yeah,
Point of order, we
Yes.
need to vote on the
On first,
refer
okay.
back to committee first.
yeah. I was going to just vote at the end of the, okay. Let's vote whether we're going to bring that motion back to the committee. It required 2/3. I mean majority, right? Majority. Okay. If you consent the motion back to the committee, raise vote.
Please vote on your screen.
Okay.
Okay, all passed.
We're still waiting on Georgiana.
Push the yes or no.
I'm trying to read the thing. Okay, I need my glasses.
Oh, dear.
Okay, are we talking about setting that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so. On this side of it?
Right there, right there. Whoop, there you have it.
Is that a yes?
To send it back, yes.
There it is.
Okay, yes. All right,
Motion passes.
unanimously. We are moving back to the committee. All right, now that motion passes, we are ready to hear from the resident. Okay.
So we're going to limit this to 2 minutes due to the
Okay.
large amount of speakers that we have.
Okay.
We do also have a couple of speakers on Zoom as well. First speaker in person is Stuart Rubin.
Gentlemen.
I have a small plug-in, and I feel that subsidizing people who use it more is not right. I don't use the plug-in that much, yet you expect me to pay $600 to help somebody else who does. It's just inconceivable. And I'd like to find out how you came up with $640. If that's based on usage for a kilowatt hour, then you have to figure out who's paying for what. And then enforcement, how many golf carts are there in the community that it plugs in but do not have the EV charging permit? I think enforcement is the key here. Maybe getting security out of their cars, walking around, visibly checking the plug-in status of the cars, and if they don't have the certificate, cert them, give a ticket. And if they continue, then do something else. But don't penalize everybody that plugs in for the scofflaws that don't plug in. Thank you. You all
Thank
have a
you.
nice day.
Okay. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Patrick Kearns. I'm sorry, Patricia.
Thank you for listening to me. I got the data from Mr. Hormuth about how he came up with this $636 figure. His first number is 7,600 miles a year driven, because that's he got that as average miles driven per year for those 65 and older in the United States. Average drivers in the United States do not live within 2 miles of every sort of retail, medical, et cetera, establishment that you could think of. I drive 3,000 miles a year, and I don't think I'm atypical. I have a hybrid, not an EV, and I understand that you are going to look at that. He said to me, yeah, I understand there's a problem with the hybrids, but it would be too complicated to come up with a system for two rates. No, it wouldn't be.
Okay.
So his number of $7,600 a year, miles per year, you literally could not do that here because, and he also presumes that every single mile that you drive comes from charging at your home. All of us hybrid owners put gas in our cars when we get any distance away from Laguna Woods. And also EV owners have to go charge somewhere else if they drive any distance. So if you think about it, the more you drive, the people who are not driving 3,000 or 4,000 miles a year, they're charging somewhere else. They're not charging that much here. There's one select group of people that could theoretically be driving 7,600 miles a year and doing all their charging in an EV charging port here. That's a commuter, but they can't do it. I had a neighbor who tried to do this. He was commuting to one of the coastal cities. He had an EV. He couldn't, because of the slow charging speed, which you also all heard about with the elevators, he could not physically charge his car up every time. In less than a year, he sold the EV and got a gas vehicle. So we don't need to plan for people who are driving 7,600 miles a year. Because if you are doing that and you're doing loops around Laguna Wood for 7,600 miles, or you're driving out and in and out and in every day with an EV, there's no way you can physically charge your car. To give you an example, the speed at which I charge in my carport is 3 times if I go over to the slowest commercial charging speed.
Thank you.
It's that slow.
All right.
Thank
We'll
you.
consider it. Thank you. Any more speakers?
We have a lot more. Next speaker is Dee Tucker.
Okay.
I thought we were doing 2 minutes, not 3.
We are too.
Good morning, Dee
Good morning.
Tucker, 252B. First, I'd like to extend my personal thanks to the board members. Your willingness to take on these responsibilities that give so much of your time, energy, and focus is appreciated and speaks volumes about your dedication to our community. Well, I'm here to speak about the EV charging. I didn't know I would be in such great company. I purchased an EV in 2022. Not having to go to the gas pump was a total plus, and the yearly charge of $240 seemed like a real bargain. I moved into the village 12 years ago. My electric bill was $25 to $40 a month. I have watched that steadily climb over the years. Now it's consistently $100 or more. I don't believe I'm using that much more electricity. I believe the rates have increased. I thought in the last couple of years we would see a rate increase in EV charging, not one dime. I'm disappointed that such a large increase needs to be made. We just received a substantial increase in the HOA fee, so adding to this seems challenging. I watched the board meeting in March, and I applaud Steve Harmo, Director of Financial Services, for his extensive study and research, especially his statement who said that they would consider monthly payments on an individual basis. Last month, one of the board members said no to that, which seemed indifferent to the residents that you were elected to serve. I urge the board to reconsider this motion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Molly Bayok.
Hi, I'm a resident of 3 years at 728D, and this is my first meeting, and I am the guilty person who wrote a seething letter to the Globe last week about this issue. I have already a plan with my neighbors because I thought the 240 would give me license to plug in every night, but there's not enough electricity to do it. So I plug in on Mondays and Thursday nights. And sometimes even that doesn't work. And I don't dare encroach on someone else's day, so I just go without. I'm just shocked at the increase and the lack of communication with the article specifically to explain where is the transparency of why, how. Those who maybe went to the March meeting heard this gentleman explain, but an itemized explanation of how did he come up with this figure? And would the board consider smaller incremental to get to the 636 over some years? It's just shocking. So I thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to back to the committee and maybe more communication with us with more details so we understand where you came up with this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next speaker is Cindy Whitney.
Yes, good morning. My name is Cindy Whitney, and I'm at 192A. I want to just start by saying that I'm here because someday I'm going to have to look at my grandsons and tell them that maybe I didn't make the world a better place, but I sure as heck didn't make it worse. I have an EV. I've had a Tesla for 3 years, a little over 3 years, and I have plugged it in to my carport. Yes, it's spotty and it doesn't always work, but it's okay for the amount of mileage that I use. But I also want to bring to your attention, this is the only thing I'll say and I'll be brief. On my phone, I have all the stats that I have in my usage of my car and what it should cost. Is there some way that we could be metered? Is some way that we could be individually charged for this? Because it's known to us and it's vastly different from what you're saying I should pay. So I'm just curious as to whether we could match these two amounts to what we're actually using and what you're suggesting that we pay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, next speaker is Earl. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Hungnis.
My name is Earl Hungnis. I live at 102D. Many of the concerns, by referring it back to committee, you've already addressed. But like the last gentleman said, I think somehow you need to figure out a way to figure out a person's usage, because everybody doesn't use the same amount of electricity even though they have the same type of vehicle. I think sending it back to committee seems to be a good thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next speaker is Larry Arion.
Larry Urian, 6820. First of all, I'm so happy to hear that the board has finally had some common sense in sending it back to committee for more consideration. And I have a little advice for the committee that they not consider painting everything with such a broad brush. There are so many variables in this thing. As the gentleman over here said, you have all electric, which I have, plug-ins, hybrids, they're all different. For my own case, I drive less than 4,000 miles. I did the calculations on the amount of electricity actually used, and it came out to $216 a year. So changing it to $636 would be grossly unfair in my situation. Everybody is different. Please, committee, use some common sense and continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Valerie Feldman.
Valerie Feldman, 436H. And I guess my questions are premature. I'm not talking about anything, but I had questions about the formula. And I, too, have a vehicle that is not fully electric. It's partially electric. I have a 25-mile range, and $626 seems very excessive to me. And I'm hoping they parse it out a little smaller in the future. And I'm glad it's going back to committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next speaker is Catherine Bryans.
Good morning again. I, too, am an EV driver and charge in the village and have, for over 4 years, worked in coordination with the people in my cul-de-sac and on the line of cars that are on the single circuit. And we've been very successful in doing that. We have an email, or not email, but a text chain that we notify when we're charging and it's work. Yes, it's slow. Yes, it is. My car, which I don't actually own, my son and his wife gave it to me to drive, which I'm happy to say. But it has, when I charge, I only get 130 miles on it. So I might look like I'm frequently charging, but I'm not. And I, too, do not drive that many miles in a year to warrant this expense. I've lived in Southern California most of my life. I have never known SEC to triple the rate in 1 year. I think we need to sit back and look at this incredibly unique community and figure out a way of either doing payments monthly or figuring out some other way. I don't know how you can divide everybody into different categories, but I do need this committee to assume, or to not assume, to take into fact that golf carts also need to have that rate raised. So I'm hoping that we can come to some better conclusion than what was presented, and I appreciate Mr. Hormuth's office because they spoke to me, and it's very difficult to judge what they and the Department of Transportation is saying that we should be doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next speaker is Mansour Rahimi.
Good morning. I too have a plug-in hybrid, drive less than 2,000 miles. As many of the people here indicated, this is overcharging on my part. I'm thinking of selling my automobile and going full gas. And if I do, then then the board is exposing itself to discriminatory laws. I picked up a couple of these online. You might want to look into it. Specifically, California Civil Code 4515, non-discrimination against sustainable living. So what you're doing is you're driving us back to the gasoline era, and the title of the law is Electric Vehicle Charging Stations, Common Interest Development. And the relevance is the California's SB 209, passed in 2020, which prohibits HOA from imposing unfair restrictions or fees on EV owners unless they are reasonably necessary. So, as the board member gentleman mentioned, we cannot discriminate against certain group of EV owners for doing this, and at the same time, the law prohibits us to move in that direction.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Bob Levy.
Good morning. And I drive an all-electric Hyundai. And I'm a realtor. I use my car every day. And my car is 14 months old. There's 6,400 miles on it. It's average 5,200 miles a year. So I think the formula that you're using of 7,500 is excessive. The other thing I'm going to mention, this problem, more and more people are going to get EVs. This problem is going to get worse. Where are we going to get all the power? So on my motorhome, I have solar panels. The solar panels charge batteries, and then I have an inverter that creates the 120 volts. And I think somewhere down the line, we're going to need to start installing solar panels on our carport with a battery bank and an inverter. And we have our separate power. If we're going to pay $600 a year, I might as well make payments to get this thing built, and eventually it'd be free and clear, and it's free, except for the cost of putting it together. Thank you.
Thank you for the tip.
Next speaker is Gary Serbanuk.
Good morning. My name is Gary Serbanuk, 9A. I'm also the newly elected president of a brand new club in the village, the Laguna Woods Village Electric Car Club.
Oh.
And our mission is to promote the driving of electric cars and advocate for the driving of electric cars. And we believe that United Mutual should do the same thing, should encourage people to drive electric cars. They're fantastic cars. I want to echo what the last two speakers said. Things are changing in this state. Next year, every multifamily unit is going to be required to provide level 2 charging for one per unit. And we think that if we don't start providing the services that people want for their houses, that we're going to be a less desirable place to live. We think electric cars are fantastic, and we hope that you will encourage the use of electric cars. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next speaker is Kathy Bravata.
Hi, Kathy Bravata, 864P, Rhonda Mendoza, and I need to state that I am speaking as an owner and not as a VMS director. This is going to be very unpopular, but in United, there are over 6,000 manners, and there are only around 500 electric vehicles. And while what everyone is saying is very good as far as the electrical vehicles, you've got over 6,000 manners, 6,000 people who are subsidizing your usage of the electricity. I appreciate the one woman who said her electric bill is only around $100. My electric bill is over $300, and this is every single month. So I don't know if you're getting some special benefit for your electricity. I don't think that the increase is that high. I have a gas vehicle. I spend over $112 a month just in gas, and I drive over 10,000 miles. I'm retired. I'm in my 70s, and I drive all the time. I go everywhere, and my insurance has gone up because I went over 10,000 miles. But I want you to consider the fact that there's only around 500 electric vehicles and over 6,400 units, and a lot of us are subsidizing their usage of the electricity, and I don't think that's fair at this point. I think there should be some other considerations for people who have to pay for their usage. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have 5 more speakers to go. Andre Toring.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to share my thoughts with you. I understand that board members has already voiced the concern about this resolution and sent back to the VMS to committee to reconsider. Now, my question is, advice is don't get into management. Don't argue about 7,600 miles or anything cost. Those are management issues. What you need to do is to request VMS present to you what is the industry best practice, standard practice. Okay, if you consider that, then you will be much safer to come up with a better resolution. There are a lot of things that I don't know if I know you are a nurse, and so you must follow a lot of SOPs. SOPs is SOP.
No, I'm not nurse.
Okay, somebody, a lot of people. I'm sure you are. A lot of your career has been follow SOPs. So it is in very. For some reason, VMS doesn't understand the SOP. They don't have SOP themselves. They don't look for SOPs themselves. They just pull the number out of the air and trying to make a recommendation. So it is very important that the board insists that you have to come up with the SOP, follow the best practice, and so we can approve you whether you are doing the right thing or not, instead of just putting numbers out of the air and complain about it. It's too complicated, I cannot handle that. Okay. Their job is to follow the best practice rather than just coming out of the random numbers and cause all these complaints. As you can hear that there are so many considerations that VMS doesn't understand, and then they come up with all these recommendations that's out of the whack, and that's not allowable. Board should stop that. Ask them for best practice SOPs, and then see if they can follow that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Alice Mee.
Hi, everybody. I've been living here more than 20 years. I bought a EV at 2022, and I just a few words. We came here for the, leisure retirement, golden life, and suddenly the amount is increased so much. It's really ridiculous. Okay, so besides our retirement only limit, and the HOA every year they increase. Like this year they increase 100 something. From the 900 from now is 1,200 now a month. The government, they are encourage everybody using the EV, okay? So they even give you the rebate, 4,000, Edison also give you 4,000 rebate, and government for 7,000 rebate. And they all encourage you have EV. How come our village increased so much, more than 600 fee for this charge? Our car, if you want to go 1 hour away, we have to go outside to get a recharge. We cannot inside. Inside is so slow. And this is a very slow service. How come we pay the very high price every month? Our every day we just go to the or in within 5 miles. Every day we just if I go anywhere, I go outside charge. And also I discover there's in laundry, the electric, the
Thank
dryer
you. Time's
is free.
up. We got your point.
Okay.
Yes,
The
time's
dryer
up.
is free. So
Thank
many
you.
people just 1 hour they using the dryer for the. They don't pay anything. Whole village, the dryer, they don't pay anything for dryer.
Thank you.
So it's not fair for us to pay.
Thank you. Next speaker is Sue Margolis.
I've been a PHEV owner since 2018, and it's been nice knowing that I can drive a car on our roads without contributing to air pollution and problems for the benefit of my fellow bicyclists, walkers, and golf cart drivers. And I've been happily paying the $240 each year. I've read that it's considered to charge $636 for EV charging starting in January. This is okay, I'm told, because the last time the annual fee was changed was in 2016. Something doesn't sound right. The charge per kilowatt hour in 2016 was 21 cents. The charge per kilowatt hour in 2025 is 23.25 cents. The increase in the charge over the 9 years is 13%. Surely the increase truthfully should reflect that. Our new charges should be 13% more than 2016, about $275 or $271. Is $636 a miscalculation, an increase of 265%, not 13? I can't understand how this amount reflects the increase in electric costs, since a good percentage of it is offset by solar panels that were purchased. Why is it only being applied to EV cars, not golf carts? According to Section 5600B of the Civil Code, boards cannot impose assessments or fees that exceed the amount necessary to defray the cost for which they're levied. This fee is not defraying the cost of electricity for charging EV cars, and I'm sure it would be difficult in court to prove that the cost of our current infrastructure. If enacted, I'm sure it will lead to a small claims court case at least, because this is not fair. Buy an EV car and raise the rate to $275.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you
have
very much.
2 speakers on Zoom. We have Lauren Lutzenheiser.
Okay. Hello? Can you hear us? Lauren? Lauren, can you hear us? You may speak. Hi, Lauren. We are on.
I'm going to move on to the next speaker then. Melinda LeBlanc.
Melinda? Melinda? I think the system is not working. Or what is it?
Should be working.
Okay. Melinda, can you hear us? You may speak.
It says she's muted.
No. Melinda?
You're right.
Last
Okay.
call?
Huh?
Okay, we'll move on.
Okay, let's move on. Is that it? Okay. Thank you very much for all who spoke, and we listened to you, and we are going back to work on our finance committee and get back to the board. All right? Thank you.
Is that committee meeting available to the public?
Yes. It's last week, Tuesday, 1:30 p.m. here. Finance committee. Yes.
Last Tuesday of the month?
Yes. Thank you. All right, let's move on to next agenda item, 11C. Entertain a motion to approve the enactment of Standard 9 interior flooring for second floor manors. Right, we have a resolution to read. Madam Secretary, can you read it, please?
Keith, just 1 second.
Page 5 of 12.
12. Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, this is an interior flooring for second floor manners. Whereas the United Laguna Woods Mutual recognizes the need to amend standards and create new standards as necessary, and whereas the Mutual recognizes the need to enact Standard 9, interior flooring for second floor manners. Now therefore be it resolved, June 10th, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts Standard 9, interior flooring for second floor manners, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolutions. I move this resolution
Any
for
second?
consideration.
Any second? Yes. Tony? You have a second?
You're not seconding?
Yeah, second.
Okay, second. Any discussion? Yes, Tony?
Yes, I don't think we've come up with the right solution here. There's been tests and tests and tests by people, so unless we hire somebody and it's acoustical engineer, I don't go along with this because I live on the ground floor of a two-story building.
Excuse me,
and it
can
doesn't
you
meet-
step out and talk, please?
It doesn't, all this stuff that we've gotten from staff, we don't meet code. It basically doesn't meet code, and if it doesn't meet code, then we don't own the manor. Our corporation owns the manor. And so it can lead to some litigation later on, with people downstairs and upstairs not getting along. It's not, doesn't belong to me. It says that we have a right to live in the manor because we bought into the corporation. So I don't like this at all, and so I have to go against it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion, committee members? Yes,
We have a member comment, Tony Mendel.
Tony?
You can call me Mendy if you want.
Mandy, okay.
31C. I received yesterday some information from VMS, which gives examples of two manors that were tested here, one in 2010, one in 2013, and one in 2019.
Mhm.
They were tested, one with cork inlay, which, by the way, has a higher dB number than 20 dB that's being proposed. It's higher, so it would attenuate more sound. And the other, it says without finished flooring. I don't know if that means some flooring was put in, but it shows basically that with these numbers and our assembly, they fail code. Both of them failed code. Area rugs cannot be used to determine assembly code. It's the co-op's responsibility to make sure the buildings meet code. If your assemblies don't meet code, the buildings don't meet code. So I've talked to you a number of times. I've given a lot of information to the board. I think it behooves you to be prudent and hire an acoustic consultant to determine if our buildings can tolerate hard floorings and meet code.
Thank you. Do we have a comment from staff, please?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So in fairness to all of the board members, let me just quickly pass out what Tony was referring to so we're all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
I only have two left.
You can share it.
Maybe I'll have to share.
Okay.
I can share. Do they need more down there? Okay.
It's fine.
Oh, I have one. I have Anybody? Yeah.
So
I
let
think
me
so.
provide some context with regard to the standard or policy revision. Mind you, the current policy sets a standard of, if tested, of 50 decibels. And that's established based on, as Ms. Mendel referred to, current building codes. But that does not affect, codes do not affect the flooring that's installed. The double checked with the city building department. There are no codes that would be in effect if you're simply changing out your floor. The mutual has established this older standard of 50 decibels. Let me just, as a means of a starting point with which, if there is an issue, how this would be tested to resolve the issue. Now, currently, the board has this standard in place, and that number rating, as it says on the first part of the page here, is 50 decibel. If you look at the proposed standard, all this standard is proposing is that 50 decibel rating be raised to 57. If you look at item 2, are these achievable in Laguna Woods Village? That's probably where Tony and I differ a little bit.
Yeah.
So not to be confused, when these buildings were built, they passed current building codes. And I'm talking with regards to the floor ceiling assembly. There are codes that dictate sound ratings for the floor ceiling assembly. As long as those assemblies don't change, even though codes are updated over the years, they are judged by the original floor to ceiling assemblies. There are, as Tony also alluded to, in the past 21 years, there have only been two incidents that have been concerned, the raised to the level of the compliance committee hearing. And the test results, we're not allowed to give the particulars of the manner out. That's privacy, but the test results are there, printed out for you. I'm going to refer to item B, which is in United. That was tested without their finished flooring in place. When their finished flooring was in place, it passed the code standard of 50 decibels. Actually, one of the rooms actually had a standard of 65 decibels, way exceeding the required. So, can it happen? Yes. If you look at item B being a base standard without any new flooring involved in the low 40s, the new requirement requires a 20 decibel underlayment. So if simple math says you add 20 decibels to, let's say it's 40 decibel rating, so you're going to have 60 decibels. The updated standard simply requires 57 decibels. Now that's, again, if and when it's tested. Keep in mind there's only been, in the last 21 years, 2 tests. Let me also state the overall goal of our standards is to improve the quality of life here. We are simply looking at upgrading that current code to raising that up to 7 decibels, which is achievable. In this particular one that didn't pass, it was determined that the member could use area rugs. And when they did put in area rugs, it passed the requirements. So that's it in a nutshell. there are no code requirements, again, for flooring. And we're not changing the floor-to-ceiling assembly rating, so current codes are in effect. For last comment is that if a member were to do a total remodel that did involve changing the structure between the floors, then the current codes would be in effect. But as long as they're not changed, there is no code requirements. And the city says, no, we don't check when they're putting in flooring. There is no code, so there's no concerns. Let me answer any questions or responses that you have.
Okay, Tony.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, are you allowed to use area code to make area rugs to make up code? I don't think, because an area rug is movable, right? It's not permanent.
Well, that is a determination that the board would make or the compliance committee would make. Based on past reports, they have allowed that.
Okay.
I'm sure they stipulated that the area rug needed to stay in place.
Tom?
Yeah, a couple of comments and questions. First of all, this new policy only increases the standard.
Yes.
That compared to what we have in right now. Is that correct?
That's correct. The current standard, if and when tested,
right,
is 50 decibels. We're proposing to increase that to 57 decibels. The louder that, higher that number, the more sound that the assembly absorbs.
And when you talk about 2 incidence tests, one of the main reasons for that is the high cost that it's going to be to either the member on the bottom level or the top level. One of the two ends up paying something around $1,500 now for that test. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And one member will have to pay that. So you either the complaining party or your neighbor is going to get charged something around $1,500 just to do the test.
That's the proposed standard. Keep in mind that if it ever went to an IDR hearing, the final decisions are still at the discretion of the member of the board.
Okay. And is VMS able to do that test if they had the proper equipment?
As Ms. Mandela's suggested, she is advocating to do the testing. So the challenge, there are some logistical challenge because you have so many models of variations in manners, and they've been built over a 20-year period. So how and what do you test to come up with that standard? The way that the new standard is written, if it becomes an issue, only if it becomes an issue, then we would test. So the mutual is not liable for any costs for that, unless the board decides that they would like to test 1, 3, 6 manners to determine on their own. They could expend that amount of money and then adjust the standard accordingly to those tests.
So our options right now is if we disapprove or don't approve this, then we have a lower standard in place.
Yes.
If we do approve it, we have a higher standard, but it may not fix the problems that we have with the sound issues in the village.
Well, here's the other challenge with this, anything to do with sound. It is subjective. What is acceptable to one member may not be acceptable to another. While the CCNRs do state everyone has a right to a peaceful life, what is peaceful to some person may not be acceptable to another. So the standard is in place simply to give the board a means by, if there is a complaint, how do you establish a resolution?
Right.
That's all
Okay.
that standard.
Thank you, Alan.
Charlie? Yeah, no, Charlie was first and then Tony. Yeah.
Real quick, because this is not an easy subject, obviously, because if you go out there and drive down the streets right now, you see a lot of upgrading going on. Okay, these upgrades especially do include mostly the laminate floors and et cetera, even on the top floors. I don't know how you're going to sit there and, over an approval for an upgrade, for you to go out and check this when they're going to put this floor in to make sure it's going to be the right dB rating. Is there any way you're going to be able to do this? Because they move at lightning speed once they start.
So there's basically 3 changes being proposed to the standard. And to address your specific concern, a big change would be registering. If you're going to put in new flooring, you register what flooring you're going to be putting in with the Manor Alterations Office. We will not do anything with it. Only if it becomes an issue, then we would supply whatever that flooring product was registered to the Compliance Committee for review. So there's a registration now required that's currently not required. The second key element in this is that there are no underlayment requirements currently. There have been substantial increases in product of underlayments, and they will actually rate their underlayments for 20 decibels or higher, depending on your underlayment. So this revised standard would then require whatever you put on the finished floor, you're going to need to put in an subfloor or underlayment that meets 20 decibels.
Okay, Tony?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to bring attention to the fact that if people who live in Third have a deed of title. You live in United, you don't have a deed of title. You have a share of stock that permits you, and it says when we sign, allow you to live in a manor. So if upstairs and downstairs are getting in a feud, they could lead to a third-party lawsuit, and that's my concern. Thank you.
Yes, because of that Tony's concern, I have forwarded some of the issues to our legal counsel. So he is going to review some of it, and maybe if we could have further question discussion, that legal issue could be discussed during the closed session today. All right. So now, are we going to? Motion is on the floor. Are we going to?
May I add something? It would be very short. I didn't use the 2 to 3 minutes up when I was there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Just a minute. Our board member has a question, and
I have one question.
Sure.
I'm trying hard to keep up here with everything. All right. Would the increased decibel level requirement of 57 be applicable going forward, and everybody else is grandfathered
Yes.
in? So if member hearings get a complaint, do you understand where I'm going here, right?
Right.
That the requirement when that flooring was laid was within code at the time. So we're only talking about, if we pass this, any floors that are installed that must meet that requirement going forward. Is that correct?
That is correct. Let me clarify or add to that. This standard has passed already for Third Mutual. So they are now requiring a registration. They will now be responsible for looking at the standard and applying the standard from I believe it was April 15th that the third board passed this standard. But we are in a 90-day, what is the term I'm looking for? Flexibility policy. So while that new standard is in place going forward, we are not enforcing it for another 90 days because we're trying to educate the members primarily through the realtors, that there is a new policy in place. So we're we will not be totally enforcing that standard for another 90 days.
But
which
you
would-
will be enforcing it after that point. So
After that
So if
point.
somebody comes in with a new flooring to the alterations department, you have the ability to reject the flooring that is substandard, is that correct?
Well, that's a good point. Let me clarify that. We're not approving or disapproving the flooring. We're simply asking whatever the member chooses to put in, we have a document of what they're putting in. The member is responsible for reviewing the standard and complying with the guidelines.
So if there is some type of a grievance filed afterwards, we took notice of the flooring, but they are ultimately responsible for putting it in.
And
And any
responsible
grievance
for
that comes through
reading
that.
the standard, understanding it, and complying with it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Maggie?
What happens if the first person downstairs moves out and they were perfectly satisfied with the floor that was installed upstairs, and maybe the second person was completely satisfied, and the third one just can't stand it? Then what happens?
So if I can interpret the question, how are standards reviewed and enforced? And it would come down to what are the guidelines when that member on the second floor or third floor, what were the standards in effect at the time that they put their flooring in? If there was a dispute, then that dispute would be judged against whatever the standards were at that time.
Right. Okay, Sue and Murat. Yes, Sue
Okay.
was first.
I wondered about this. I know all we're trying to do is increase the sound
Level.
barrier, so that the people below aren't as impacted. But this appears to be voluntary. If they just register and there's their flooring that they chose, it may or may not meet it, and then it goes forward. Can we make it so that it is mandatory that any new floors going in must meet this 57%? And I don't.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, that's the question. Why can't we mandate that it must meet the 57%?
That's what the standard
Yeah.
establishes.
Mhm.
It establishes if and when the flooring is tested, it must meet that 57 decibel threshold.
This correctly, though, they're just registering it. And so you're not saying, does this meet the 57% when they register? And I think they should have to meet that 57% when they register what they're putting in,
Well-
so that it doesn't go to arbitration or whatever. I know you only had 2 instances, but...
So, in essence, what you're saying is every time a member wants to put in a new floor, and that happens on a regular basis, you're saying that they should be responsible for testing at that time. So you're asking, well, if you're going to put in a new floor, then you need to test and make sure that your new floor makes that standard. So you're asking a $1,500 charge on top of whatever their flooring costs to do the sound testing. We're trying to avoid, let me rephrase that. The standard is trying to avoid unnecessarily adding cost to the flooring installation. It may never be an issue. The cost would be incurred if and when only it becomes an issue. And even at that, there is a chance that it could be resolved before it ever got to the testing point. So we're trying to, the standard is written in such a way to minimize any added burden cost-wise to the members. Keep in mind, for years and years and years and years, there have been no product registrations, no guidelines. The last time this standard was changed It was written in such a way that hardwood flooring is not allowed. Then I think in 18, don't quote me on that, in 2018, the standard changed. And basically that standard said there have been improvements in both flooring products and underlayment products. We're going to remove that hardwood flooring. We'll keep the standard the same, allowing the member the freedom and the choice to put in whatever flooring that they desire, providing it meets that standard. So that, if I'm a member and want to take advantage of the new products that are out there, I would prefer to make my own choice, knowing that whatever I choose needs to meet that standard, as opposed to having a standard say, the only thing you can put in is carpet.
Murat, did you have a question? Comment?
We discussed this last time at the last board meeting, and we had some kind of consensus that this registration was perfunctory. It didn't solve anything. To Sue's point, what she was trying to say, it's perfunctory. It's not proactive. It's relying on people complaining before anything gets done. And we thought last time it was not correct. That's what I recall. I don't know if you guys recall that as well. So we're back to the same point. The registration is perfunctory. We are relying on people's complaints. Floors do come with decibel specs. All we have to do is make sure that the flooring that is being registered does abide with required specs, which is 57. So why isn't that possible? Thank you.
Well, part of that 57 reading has to include the floor-to-ceiling, existing floor-to-ceiling assembly. So we don't know what that floor-to-ceiling assembly rates at until it's tested. We have been provided with 2 examples that have been tested, and from that we can assume, and that's a big assumption, that the basis for testing that floor-to-ceiling assembly will be in the low 40s. If that's the case, then the member is responsible for whatever they add to that to bring that up to from 40 to a 57. Included in that is a 20 decibel requirement of an underlayment, and that has never been required before. So we're looking to, again, improve the standard without overburdening or overcomplicating the member's process of simply wanting to put in an updated floor.
Okay, Tom, final question?
Yeah, Alan, other HOAs have an approved underlayment list that has to be used when installing a floor above another unit, and they do an inspection prior to the flooring actually being put on that underlayment. Have you considered that? And I know, and what issues does it cause?
Well, there are perhaps no management teams or policies from homeowners or associations that are the same. They vary widely. If the way around that is to spend the money up front, if the mutual decides, let's test 10 homes in our community at $1,500 a piece, and then we'll look at the results of those testings and then readdress the standards at that time, that's a possibility. If the mutual doesn't want to spend that money, then the updated standard allows that testing, the standard provides strict guidelines for which that can be tested and gives the board members very direct rules by which they can make an assessment. But in the past 21 years, if there have only been two, one in United and one in Third, are we going too far if we decide we should test 10 manners or 5 manners and readjust? That would be, as Tony is alluding to, take the mystery out of it. We're just trying to defray those costs because it's happened so infrequently to date, and provide specific guidelines if and when it's tested for a resolution.
Okay, I'll give time to Tony, and then we'll probably vote.
What Alan is suggesting is that lab tests.
Wait till you get to the microphone, please.
Alan is suggesting that lab test fees, when you go in and buy something, can be added up to determine if you meet code. They can't. You have to test the entire assembly, and the entire assembly, the calculations I've run are accurate because they match what came out in these, which were tested, really tested. The calculate.
Can you come to the microphone?
Yes.
Close.
The assembly, our bare assembly, has a 30 dB rating based on the numbers that were given to me by VMS for the floor ceiling assembly. So that's a proposed 30 dB. Now, given that you cannot, here, let's see, hard flooring, especially those that low lab test like IIC 70 contribute little to impact sound isolation and even can reduce overall assembly. I did a test with cork, which was used in one of these tests that failed code, didn't even reach 45. It was down at 40 and 42 and 40. Coke, that has a higher impact selling rating. In other words, they've tested over a 6-inch concrete slab. Our concrete slab is 2 to 2.5 inches. That's why any underlay will fail. And I'm going to give you copies of this. The outcome of the test with the numbers given to me of our hard floor ceiling assembly here with cork, which has a higher than 20 dB rating, it rates around 23 dB, outcomes will significantly below current code required for multifamily levels. The conclusion, with the decibel assembly, lightweight concrete, plywood insulation, drywall, plaster ceiling, and the addition of hard surface flooring with 1/4 inch cork underlay, and the probable IEC will be in the 35 to 40 range of the assembly. That assembly fails code. 57, none of the tests will ever reach 57 with whatever underlay they're using. The conclusion is achieving IIC 50 that would be required, more substantial acoustic upgrading, thicker underlay, floating floors, and a ceiling modification.
Okay.
You're pulling in the downstairs unit. You're making an alteration up here that's affecting 2 units.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
Do you want to do another member comment, or do you want to vote right now?
we have a member comment?
We have one on Zoom. Juanita?
Okay, just one
Okay.
more then. After that, we're going to vote.
Juanita, go ahead and speak, please.
I have it. Thank you. Hello? Zoom is not working, I don't think.
We may be having some Zoom issues today.
Okay,
unfortunately.
all right, let's vote. Are you ready to vote? You have a resolution before you, all right? If we have any legal implication, let us talk to our legal counsel this afternoon. Yes,
I apologize. Let me make one counter comment.
okay.
We already have one test done,
Oh,
and that
okay.
is included in the report that I handed out.
Okay, yes,
If that is in contradiction to what Tony is saying, we do meet those
Okay.
standards.
Thank
and
you.
it's only going to become an issue if and when tested.
All right. Tom, what was?
Yeah, I'd like to see us approve this resolution, but direct staff to come back with a stronger, look at coming back with a stronger proposal to control the noise issues that we have. I don't see any purpose in not approving this.
Right.
It only
Right.
helps, but I
Right.
don't think it goes far enough.
Yes, thank you. Okay, are we ready to vote? If vote for the resolution, vote please. Yes? All done? Okay,
The lady
There-
on Georgiana.
who is it?
We're good now.
Okay, 9-1, resolution passes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tony, and thank you. Let's move on to next item, D, entertain a motion to approve the rescission of interior flooring policy. D.
All right.
Resolution, can you please read?
Thank you. Resolution 0125XX, rescind interior flooring policy. Whereas the United Laguna Woods Mutual recognizes the need to review policies as necessary, and whereas the Mutual enacted Standard 9 interior flooring for second floor manners to incorporate the processes currently contained in the interior flooring policy, and whereas the aforementioned integration of procedures would create a duplication of information, should be a comma there, the Mutual recognizes the need to rescind the interior flooring policy. Now therefore be it resolved, June 10th, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby rescinds the interior flooring policy as attached to the official meeting minutes, and resolve further that Resolution 01-18-115, adopted November 13th, 2018, is hereby canceled, and resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. This is revised in May. Should the board endorse the proposed revisions, we are in May.
Yes.
So it is,
Okay.
it is up for
Yeah,
now.
28
Thank
days
you. I
passed.
move this resolution.
Any second? Okay, second. All right. Any objections? No objections. Pass. Okay. 11E is recommendation to approve the prohibition of planting vegetables and new fruit trees. There is a resolution.
Here we go. Resolution 0125XX, fruit tree and vegetable policy. Whereas fruit trees in the common area were planted by or at the request of members as part of the discontinued Yellow Stake program, and whereas fruit trees are not maintained or trimmed by the Mutual and are the sole responsibility of the member to maintain and must be tagged by the member or his or her successor, whereas the maintenance of fruit trees can be passed on to new members with the purchase of the resident, whereas fruit trees and vegetable gardens are a known attractant and food source for wildlife and rodents, and unmaintained fruit trees exacerbate the problem, and whereas 2 garden centers have been provided by the Golden Rain Foundation for the purpose of providing a place for residents to grow fruit, vegetables, or food crops. Whereas there has been a significant increase in rodent activity since state-mandated restrictions on rodenticides were put into effect, now therefore be it resolved on May 13, 2025, that the Board of Directors of this corporation introduces the revised fruit tree and vegetables policy, which prohibits the planting of any fruit trees, vegetables, or other food crops in common area, and requires members to tag and maintain existing fruit trees, vegetables, or other fruit crops in common area and in exclusive use common areas. Resolved further, the planting of vegetables and new fruit trees in common area is prohibited. Resolved further, existing fruit trees and vegetables in common area and exclusive use are to be tagged and maintained by the responsible member. And resolved further, during the resale process, the responsibility to maintain existing fruit trees and vegetables in common area may be accepted by the new member. If the new member declines to accept the responsibility to maintain the fruit trees or vegetables, they will be removed at no cost to the responsible member. And resolve further, to maintain health and safety of residents, fruit trees and vegetables found to be unmaintained, as determined by staff and sole discretion, will be removed after notice if the identity of the responsible member is known by the mutual at no cost to the responsible member. And resolve further, fruit and vegetable maintenance shall be defined in the attached fruit tree and vegetable maintenance policy. And resolve further, Resolution 084-129 and Resolution U84-130, effective August 28, 1984, are hereby superseded in their entirety and no longer in effect. And resolve further, that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. The 28 notification date has been satisfied. I move this resolution.
Is there any second? Second. Okay, do we have to vote? Yes?
I have a question.
Yes.
Who would be enforcing this? Because as I understand it, the rodent population has been going up.
Landscape enforces it.
Sure, yes, sir. Okay, Kurt, can you come up and help us out?
Good morning. I think it's
Good morning.
still morning.
Yes.
Yes, landscape would be enforcing this.
Right. Okay.
Landscape.
So
Thank you.
Okay, so how many trees have been removed? So, in other words, every property that might be sold where there might be a fruit tree or something, is that being dealt with in some way?
Yes, more often than not, the new residents accept the responsibility for the trees. But for instance, when Third banned what did, removing trees at resale, we removed 250 trees in 2 years. So there's
Okay.
a lot of, United has well over 700 fruit trees.
Mhm. Right. Thank you. Any more questions? Yes, Tom?
Yeah, so a fruit tree that's out there and you don't know where it was, who planted it, who would take care of it, you're basically going to have to assign ownership of that fruit tree to somebody. And somehow it's got to be determined who gets that responsibility. And what is the process for that?
So when we come across a situation where there's a fruit tree that's completely unmaintained, we generally knock on doors of the residents around there, and we generally come up with a consensus of who it belongs to and then talk to that person. If no one takes responsibility for it, then we remove it.
Thank you. Any other question? All right. Oh, yes.
Oh,
so-
okay, I just want to make sure that everybody understands this, and Kurt, please correct me if I'm wrong. But all this policy is trying to do is to keep the fruit trees well maintained that currently exist. They just can't be left out there forever and not maintained. So we're trying to say, if you own it, you maintain it, you take care of it. There will be no new fruit tree plantings in the future. But if you have a tree now, it is your tree. Nothing's going to happen to that tree as long as you maintain it. And the reasoning behind all this was that if you look on our page, let's see, what was that? 15 to 24, this isn't an exciting topic, but it's very real to the people who have them. In 2024, the rodent tickets went to 882 tickets. That's a lot of people complaining about rodents, and they are fed by the produce. So we're trying to reduce that number, and we've had so many complaints about coyotes, and while this does not directly impact them, if you reduce food sources that are there, they may decide to go someplace where there are better food sources. We don't know that. I've not communed with the coyotes, but it makes sense that if there's less food for them, perhaps they will do something else. We want to maintain these trees so that their fruit isn't lying all over the ground, and then all these rodents come for that fruit.
Thank you.
Is that
All
correct?
right. Yeah, we already discussed last time, we already passed it, so 28 notice, so we're supposed to have that information, right? Okay,
We do have one member comment when you're ready.
okay. Georgiana?
Yeah, I was just wondering, hasn't some kind of poison been put out somewhere for rodents or something, or their traps? Because I had heard, so I'm not a witness to this, that the rodents are getting the poison, they're dying, and then birds are eating the rodents or something, and they're dying.
Well, that's what's exasperating your problem is the state passed laws restricting the use of rodenticides. So the ones we use now are much weaker, so that when the rats have the poison in them, there's not enough poison to kill a bird that goes, an owl or say a raptor, that goes after it. So it takes a lot more of the poison to kill the rats, so they have to visit the bait boxes more often. And with fruit on trees, the fruit tastes better than the poison, so they tend to go to the trees first and the poison second.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, more question? No. Okay, let us vote then.
comment.
Member comments.
Yes.
Are we connected now or not? Okay.
It's via email, so
All
I'll
right.
read it. It's from member Jay Lessie. They said, "Dear United Board, I am in favor of the proposed rule to prohibit the future planting of fruit trees and vegetables in common area. Ideally, existing fruit trees and vegetables should also be removed, but if you can at least prevent future plantings, that will be an improvement. Common area should only be designed, planted, and maintained by the HOA and to the HOA's professional standards. Common area is not for residents to interfere with. The more residents are allowed to tinker with common area landscape, the worse our property looks. The worse our property looks, the more it hurts our property values. There's also certain hazards as our professional HOA gardeners try to work around the landscape to maintain HOA property, especially when residents put hard items such as garden gnomes and other doodads out and among the plants. These are trip hazards, interfere with weed whackers, etc. It also slows up the pace of the gardener's work and increases labor costs. There are exclusive use common area planters and an entire garden center to satisfy people's gardening urges. Allowing residents to plant in common area messes up the legal distinction between what is common area and what is exclusive use common area and what is a unit. 3 distinct legal definitions in Davis Sterling. Reducing fruit trees and vegetables will indeed reduce rats, and it will also reduce coyotes. Our cat was killed by a coyote, and we live in hypervigilance that our small dog, too, could be killed. And that's all from the member.
Thank you. All right, ready to vote, right? Okay, let's vote for yes, against no.
Anthony, we're going to need your vote, please.
All right, motion passes. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on to new business. Item number 12, Town Hall oral discussion by Director Costello, please.
Mickey,
Yes?
I think you have 11F there.
Yeah. Oh, 11F. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, the important one. I'm sorry, I don't know why. Okay, let's move back to 11F. Presentation of building elevation color renderings. Mr. Manuel Gomez. Oh, yes, how can we miss that? Sorry. Oh.
What are we, 11F?
11F, it's oral discussion. We don't have any
Oh, okay.
resolution, so.
Thank you, members of the board.
Oh.
As many of you recall, in March, at your March meeting, you authorized us to get an architect to prepare some color renderings of the new paint colors, schemes that have been reviewed by committee. The board looked at these. You said, hey, let's get some renderings before we move forward with the approvals. So Adam Felice is our maintenance operations manager. His division is the group that oversees the paint program. As part of that, he works with the residents to select the paint colors. This is the new color scheme that's on the board here. We are now supplementing that with the renderings that are spread around the room here. This is the mock-up draft of the renderings. We wanted to share them with you, get your feedback on them, and then if you're good with these, we'll go ahead and get those in final, glossy form that we can then use to share with residents so they could get some idea of, if you pick letter C, this is what it looks like on a one-story building, or this is what it looks like on a two-story building, etc. So Adam and I are here to answer any questions you may have. Again, this is simply kind of a show and tell today. This is the draft for the boards. If they look okay to you, we'll move forward with getting those finalized. And then the board should also maybe think about how you want to get these out to the members. I know you've discussed it at town halls in the past. We can certainly make these available for that. You can see there's a number of them, so maybe we just pick, one for a one-story, one for two-story, and put them in the lobby. Whatever the board thinks you want to do to start getting these out. We also have these available on digital format. So I think in the long run, once the color palette gets approved and the selections are made, we'll have them available in digital format so that our staff, maybe like on an iPad, can show them to members in the field as opposed to having to lug these boards around everywhere. But again, at the discretion of the board, we're happy to take any direction and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any question, comment? Yes, Georgiana?
Yes. What are the colors that are being considered for the two-story buildings? I've been asking this for months.
You have it? I don't have it. Let me see if Adam has it. I didn't bring it in my copy.
Good morning. I think it's still morning. For the two-story buildings, you're going to have Group A, B, and H.
Okay.
And this report has been at the previous committee meetings and the board meetings as well, this document that exists for that.
Okay. Any other question, comment? Charlie, do you have
I want
it?
to see pictures.
And
the pictures.
each board's double-sided, so there are other renderings on the other side. It'll be just a different color, if you'd like to see.
Well, I see.
Okay. Sure. You want to go around and then
60 seconds.
60 seconds. All right. Yeah. Why don't we have 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
While the board takes the time to look at some of these, I also
Yeah.
want to point out.
Okay. Let's have a 10-minute break.
Oh.
And
is that
continue on
what
the
it-
committee meeting. Yes. So why don't we have a 10 minutes break? So we're going to recess until 5 to 12 noon.
Mickey,
Mickey?
I believe George Gomez had one. Oh, you're
Oh.
good? Okay, he's good.
He has to
We'll
go?
do it afterwards.
Okay.
Well, I go to the restroom.
It's okay. Yeah. I'm going to go.
Yeah, we'll be back.
You have to go? Okay, let us resume. Do we have any more questions to Mr. Manuel?
I do, just a
Yes, please.
clarification.
Clarification, comment?
Assuming that these are approved, when is the earliest we would start to see these colorations being put out into the community? How far out would the painting process?
We would propose, well, let me back up.
Oh.
We could do it with the next cul-de-sac that's scheduled for painting.
Oh.
So the next steps here are going to be, unless we hear any changes that you want made to these will get finalized. And then we still have to come back to the board with the resolution approving the new colors, put that on 28-day review, come back the following month, get the final approval.
Okay.
That's assuming you don't want this to go back to committee.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, it would be ready to be implemented. So wherever we are in the paint program at that point, the next cul-de-sac that's getting the schedule for painting will be given the option to select on these new colors.
Okay, thank
Got a
you.
question, Madam
Yes, yes, Charlie?
So right now they're painting using the standard old colors?
Yes.
Okay, just curious.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, Maggie? Oh, yeah? Go ahead.
I move.
Oh,
Well,
Charlie,
I'm in favor of
Tom.
Yeah, when you say the cul-de-sac selects the colors, can you tell me the process on that?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the foreman for the paint department will actually select the color based upon the groupings. And then we will send out a notification notifying the members of that particular, actually it's not by buildings, it'd be by building, not by cul-de-sac. Selects, and we'll notify the building member of that color. If collectively the members in that unit say, hey, we don't approve that color, they would then get together and then at a majority select the option out of the groupings. And if they can't come to a consensus, then we'll default back to what the painting foreman selected.
When you do that notification, do you give them the other alternatives or just show them the selected?
We give them the sheet with all the groupings.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Maggie?
No, I think this is fine, and you can put this up anywhere you want so that anybody can wander through and say, oh, whatever. I think this is more than we've ever done before, so.
Okay. Any more comment, question to staff? Otherwise, do you need any action?
No, if the board is comfortable with this, then we're going to work with the architect to brighten up these boards. Again,
Right.
this is just the first draft off of our printer. We'll work with the architect to brighten up these boards, put the proper finish on them, and then at your next board meeting, we'll bring the resolution
Right, okay.
for you to officially adopt the new colors.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Full
Thank you very
speed
much.
ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Okay, new business, Town Halls, Director Costello.
Well, I think we found our topic for the next town hall. I was hoping.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think this would be a great
Great.
rolling into the next town hall to have these, or however far Mount Well gets on the cleaning up of these available
Okay.
for the next town hall.
All right, thank you. Entertain a motion to accept 2024 audit report. Do we have to adopt this one? Because we had already did it, special meeting. Well, anyway, let's look at 12B page. That has been already adopted during the special meeting. I don't know why we need to do it.
Well, let's do it again. anyway.
Let's do it again? Okay,
I move 12B,
all right.
motion to accept the 2024 audit report.
There's a motion. Any second? Okay, Charlie's second. Any objection? No objection. Thank you. It's been approved. Okay, and then C, 12C, entertain a motion to approve the revision to unauthorized alteration fee. Okay, there is a resolution, page 5 of 12. So, Madam Secretary, can you read it, please?
when I find it.
Okay.
Oh, it's the last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Resolution 01, Resolution 0125XX, unauthorized alteration fee. Whereas the mutual has seen an increase in unauthorized alterations, and whereas significant administrative staff time is necessary to investigate, document, and process unauthorized alteration incidents, and whereas in order to offset a portion of the administrative costs associated with the investigation, documentation, and processing of unauthorized alteration incidents, the board adopted an unauthorized alteration fee. And whereas operational costs have increased since the time of that inception, now therefore it be resolved June 10th, 2025, that the Board of Directors hereby increase the unauthorized alteration fee for processing mutual consents after the fact to $400, effective June 10th, 2025, and resolved further, when it has been determined that a member has started or completed alterations without proper mutual consent and city permit, a stop work notice will be issued, and the member will be scheduled for a disciplinary hearing before the board. And resolved further, the member will be directed to apply for mutual consent and shall pay the unauthorized alteration fee, which shall be in addition to the board-approved mutual consent processing fees. And resolve further, payment of the unauthorized alteration fee does not preclude the member from disciplinary action by the board. Resolve further that Resolution 01-1887, adopted September 1st, 2018, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. This is the May initial notification. Should the board endorse this provision, it comes back again next month, no less than 28 days, to comply with Civil Code 4360. I move this resolution.
Any second? No second? Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Sue is second.
I'm just going.
All right, let us vote. If you consent this motion, say yes. Otherwise, no.
Oh, we can't see.
It's all yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, motion passes. Thank you very
Unanimous.
much. Okay, unanimously passed. All right, so we don't like unauthorized alteration, right?
Dang.
Okay. All right, rest of the section, item 13 and 14, 15, and I suggest our Vice President, Director Costello, chair the meeting, please.
Does anybody second that? No.
Yeah.
All right. United Committee reports. We're going to start with the report of the Finance Committee and financial report from Director Prater. Director Prater, please.
Good
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. We made the afternoon. All right. The financial report, this is as of March 31st, 2025. Slide number 1. Let's do the report. Okay, the total revenue for United was $15.4 million compared with the expenses of $13.1 million, resulting in a net revenue of $2.4 million. Okay. You know, we always watch this, listen very carefully here. The opening fund without shows the surplus of $1.1 million through the reporting period. This table shows how much of the revenue went into operations, with $7.4 million coming in from assessments and $300 and $66,000 coming from the non-assessment revenue. This is compared to operating expenses of $6.6 million. This table takes in the full income statement and compares those results to the budget. We can see that United ended the prior better than budget by $2.1 million when combining all funds. Next.
Good.
The most significant variances from the budget were attributed to the following: outside services, $1.4 million favorable in the maintenance and constructions due to timing of programs such as roof replacements, damage restoration, waistline remediation, tree maintenance, among others. The budget was spread evenly over the year, but actuals will take place later this year. Employee compensation of $362,000. Favorable variance resulted primarily in the maintenance and construction due to opening positions. We do see this impact into the carpentry, plumbing, and paint. Recruitment is in progress. This is going to be an ongoing thing due to turnover, and it's just going to be this way throughout the year. I can see this. Materials and supplies, 268. Favorable variance be primary in the M&C due to timing of materials usage in programs throughout the community in areas such as indoor components, electrical, and appliance. Utilities, telephone, unfavorable variance due to the higher water usage than budget in the first part of the year, addition to higher trash rates than acceptance.
Anticipated.
Yeah.
I have a question with that.
Well,
what does that mean?
Well, it means that we're getting rate hikes like crazy. In fact, the El Toro Water District just announced that they're going to have another water price increase very shortly. So this thing is, we're always fighting this, the increases, and especially in water and utilities.
And the trash rates.
And the trash, yeah.
Well, aren't we contracted for trash?
Yes, it is, but those contracts are ongoing too. It's not every time they turn around. They have the options to a certain amount of increases, yes.
Don't make trash.
Apparently, we're making more than what we budgeted
Right,
for.
we should not make trash. Slide 5.
Okay, where are we? Slide 5. Let's keep going. 5. There we go.
There we go.
This is the pie chart that shows the non-assessment revenues earned to date of $500,000. Revenues organized by categories, starting with the largest revenue generating category, investment income, followed by fees for charges to residents, laundry, and so forth. There's a good breakdown on that chart. 6. Here's a table showing the same $500K of non-assessments revenue as presented in the previous chart, compares it to the year's budget and the prior year's budget actuals. All right. This is the pie chart to see the expenses to date of $13.1 million, showing that our largest categories of expense are for employee compensation, followed by property tax, outside services, utilities, insurance, and so forth. We will be doing an insurance payment at the end of this month. We don't have a final one yet, but it's coming, so you know. This table shows the same 13.1 million of the expenses as presented in the previous chart and compares it to the current year's budget and the prior year-to-date actuals. Our fund balances are shown here. The contingency fund balance on March 31st is $627,000. Contributions collected totaled $28,000, and no expenditures have been incurred to date. The reserve fund balance on March 31st was $14.2. Contributions and investment revenue collected a total of $3.8, while expenditures were $2.6. We compared these to the non-operating fund balances to historical fund balances for the last 5 years. On this chart has an average of $18.1 million. This table illustrates the schedule of repayment of the temporary borrowing from the reserve fund. United has always kept a close eye on this, and the repayment of any borrowed funds monies from the reserve fund on November 12th of last year, 2024, the board approved temporary borrowing from the reserve fund of 3.2. The borrowed monies were paid back in full as of March 31st of this year. And finally, we have the table here that shows the resale history, for 2023 through 2025. Through March 31st, United's resales totaled 71, which is 15 less than the period last year for the same time period. The average year-to-date resale price for a United Mutual Manor was 406, which is 41,000 more than the prior year for the same period.
Any questions for Director
Any
Prater?
questions, Roman? Oh.
I just want to emphasize on slide 2 that shows 1.1 million operating surplus. That surplus was primarily due to work that was budgeted in Q1, to be done in Q1, but was not done in Q1.
Right.
And then for some of the work done in Q1, invoices not received by vendors. And since VMS does not do a hard close every quarter, they were unable to account for such invoices because they were not received. So had they done that, a hard close, and had the work, budgeted work be done, we would have had a deficit. Thank you.
Carlos, would you like to
Carlos?
respond to that?
No, I mean, that's really in Steve's purview. I think he would be best to make sure it's accurate. I don't want to put anything out there that may not be accurate.
Okay, fair enough.
And we don't want to put it.
Right.
All right,
All right.
moving on. Thank
Moving
you,
on.
Director Prater. Moving on, the report of the Architectural Control and Standards Committee by Director Blackwell.
Let's see. Okay, we met on Thursday, April 18th. We talked about flooring variances to add 4 windows, a style of gate, and so on and so on. We approved those. And we have a next meeting is May 15th at 9:30. Our future agendas are on solar panels, standards, revision to 36 ramps for disabled persons, revision, enact a standard for stair lifts, and revision to the alteration fee schedule. So come join us on May 15th. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Director Blackwell? All right, you did such a good job with that, Maggie. The report of Member Hearings Committee by Director Blackwell.
Right. Okay. The April 17th, we had a governing documents review.
No, we're on member hearings.
Member hearings. Oh, member hearings. Okay. Yes, we had a successful member hearings program. I won't say it was not painful to some residents, but we do what we have to do. Thank you. It's not an open meeting.
And moving on to the report of a governing documents review committee by Director Blackwell.
Right. Okay. So our last meeting was April 17th, 1:30. We approved the report and we worked on the occupancy application, and they did some clarification of the different types of occupancies that we have, and staff came up with a very nice chart for us, and so that will be published. And let's see, no rents collected rules for co-occupants. That was under discussion. Parts of our bylaws say, or parts of our documents say, a co-occupant must not pay rent, and another part says they can pay rent. So that was the question. and staff will come up with the clarification on that. It does say there are two documents that just don't agree. So we'll deal with that when we come to it next time. So we may or may not have a meeting this time. That was the only thing on it. So apparently we probably won't have a meeting this month. But if we do, it will be after architecture and alterations. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Blackwell. Any comments, questions to Director Blackwell? All right. Moving on to the report from the Landscape Committee by Director Quam.
Well, it was a fun month. We had the Earth Day organizers. We present at the Clubhouse 5, and it was a great presentation. We had many members from the community come and attend, and we had our landscape staff out there showing all the different pots of plants and trees and that sort of thing. We also had our maintenance department expressing what they did to contribute to Earth Day. So that was very good. We also got two new landscape committee members. They are Director Charles Brader and Jeannie Costello. So what we are working on this coming month, and we would invite every member of the board and please members of the community who are concerned about our landscaping efforts to come to our meeting on May 21st, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. What we're going to do is review the Monarch environmental findings, and that was a study to see what we're doing well, what we're doing okay, and what should be improved. And it was by an outside company, and we will present those findings. We'll also talk about the 2026 budget, which is very important. We have to decide how we're going to fund our landscaping in the upcoming year. And it's very timely because our landscape committee budget hearing is on June 2nd. So we welcome your input. The other thing we'll be doing at our next meeting is discussing the tree removal process. It was mentioned by staff that, or committee members, that our staff is taking time to prepare detailed reports for us, which is much appreciated. But we normally end up rubber stamping their recommendations because they are so clear. If the tree is leaning, if the tree is causing problems with the plumbing, that sort of thing, why have us involved? It's so obvious, and it wastes their time. It's things that could be proactively done. So we're going to look at how we can expedite that. And then the other thing we're looking at, and this is just for a local community, 604B, they are cursed with 7 trees that drop these little balls that are very hard, they're like acorns, giant acorns, or golf balls with spikes. And so we want to work with them about what we can do in their community. So please attend, or at least tell us your preferences on what you want. And again, that is at 1:30 on May 21st. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Quam. Any questions, comments? Moving on. Next is the report of the Maintenance and Construction Committee from President Choi Ho.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. We had a meeting on April 23rd, every other month, Wednesday, third Wednesday, I believe. And we had a lot of topics. First one was the building color elevation rendering update that has been made by Manuel, and he suggested that that will be ready for the next voting, which is today. So as you see, we had some progress, and we have all the rendering information here, so it's good. And then also we were provided a summary of the progress toward starting a pilot program of the wash and dryer app pilot program update, and then we were suggested that the program will start. 2 vendors are very interested in providing the service, and we probably will select 100 laundry rooms and laundry machines in 14 laundry rooms. During our meeting, that the location was suggested, but anyway, that will be, the information will be provided in detail more. And I don't know when it will start, but pretty soon. And we were suggested probably the project, the minimum term is about 12 months of the pilot program C, what will be the, and we do not have a cost number yet, but it will be provided pretty soon. So, and what kind of options, application coin, non-coin, anything like that. So we will be presented more detailed information pretty soon, right? Okay, and also again, United Energy Subcommittee has been formed under the leadership of Director Tony, and as some of the members suggested, some solar panel program maybe next to the EV charge stuff. So we will consider many other options, what will be the best for us. I mean, 6 years infrastructure problem and everything, so we have long way to go, but I hope the committee will bring brilliant ideas so that our residents will have more benefit and satisfaction, service, so on. All right, so items for discussion, consideration for next time is annual solar production, and El Toro Water Districts has some kind of plan on Aliso Creek area. There is a little, building there, and then they will renovate that, so they might cause some of the obstruction for us. And it's going to be a little, problematic for us, but we will guide it further. And 2025 Shepherd Crook program was also presented. So, even though we meet every other month, we have a lot of projects. And next meeting will be Wednesday, June 25th, 9:30 a.m. So here we go. Thank you.
Thank you, President Choi Ho. Any questions or comments? No? Moving on. The report of the United Resident Advisory Committee from Director Willis.
Well, we last met on June 8th, and the next meeting, on May 8th, and the next meeting is on June 12th at 4 p.m. in the Elm Room. And if any of you have anything that's fallen between the cracks, like possibly a repair or something like that, please feel free to drop by or make an appointment. And we at least can get the information from you and submit it to someone who can make sure it's looked into. Thank you.
Keep pushing the rock up the hill. Any questions for Director Willis? Any comments? All right. Moving on to the report of the United Revenue Committee by, again, President Choi Ho.
Right. We have not met since last report because we wanted to have a legal counsel's input for the project that we are looking at. So we did not meet, and we are going to meet in May 20th. It's going to be a closed meeting because we are talking about the legal implication. Okay. So thank you.
All right. Any questions or comments? No? All right. Let's move on to our GRF committee highlights. First up is report of the GRF Finance Committee by Director Prater.
Yes, this meeting was on April 16th, and the Finance Committee did actually a lot. They were busy. Steve Harmuth gave an upgrade on the audits. The financials have been accepted into the corporate records, and the special board meeting that was held in early April. The finalized financial statements are on track to be released towards the end of April, which has happened, along with the civil codes required. They covered the preliminary financial statements dated the 31st. The final audit financial statements dated December 24th were covered. One item they also did, the PAC Center, the Performing Arts Center, now will have the fees of credit card fees into the ticket price, so we will not be picking that up anymore, which would be a good thing there. Carter Phoenix and made a motion, that did pass. That's it. The next meeting will be Wednesday, June 18th.
Wonderful. Any questions or comments? No? Moving on to the report of the Community Activities Committee by me. All right. So we met on May 8th, and we accepted a donation of the Light Volleyball Club sign for Clubhouse 1 Gymnasium. We accepted a donation of the misting system from the Lawn Bowling Club. And the 2026 capital plan proposals were passed unanimously. We are still reviewing the recreation policy. That has been under review for several months now. We're going line by line, page by page, line by line, reviewing the recreation policy. Yes, ma'am.
That was completed last year. And we
What
took
was?
we took 3 years to do that. We redid the entire recreation book. And
Yet-
now they're doing
And yet we're
it
doing
again.
it again. I think, believe me, I've been sitting through it, yes. We are doing it again, line by line.
I guess it's one way of making yourself feel important. I don't know.
I don't feel important at all.
It's like being on a sandy street. You just keep
Keep
kicking
kicking
up
up.
the sand and you get nowhere.
Well,
Just kick up.
I trust your opinion because I wasn't on the committee last year, so I don't know, but it was presented and we are reviewing. So hopefully coming to some resolution soon. All right. Our next meeting is June 12th, where I'm sure we will once again be reviewing the recreation policy. Moving on, report of the GRF Landscaping Committee from Director Kwong.
We are having a landscape committee meeting soon, this week, Wednesday, and please attend.
All right.
That's it.
Okay.
No point.
Moving on, report of the GRF Maintenance and Construction Committee from President Choi Ho.
Yes, we met April 9:30 a.m., and we had some of the issues with the Clubhouse One Sound Assessment update was presented by the staff, and we discussed some of the problems, concerns around the Clubhouse. And then Clubhouse 2 pool deck pavers update. Again, the short PowerPoint presentation was made, and it's still in progress, so it's not finished yet. And then 2026 budget assessment items, extra items were presented, and there were very fiery discussion which items should be included, which should not be. Yeah, but there were some items were selected, and they will be reconsidered for the budget assessment possibility. Next meeting will be on Wednesday, June 11th, 9:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to the space planning ad hoc committee?
We did not meet. Actually, the previous meeting, I think Nancy already reported that we had the trip to the building, and the staff people are kind of looking at the possibility, what could be the way of handling the structure-wise and how we will proceed the project. And we have not had any kind of conclusion yet, but in some reason, the scheduled meeting was canceled, and there's no scheduled meeting further, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
We will be informed. Right.
Next, report of the Mobility and Vehicles Committee by Director Costello. We had two meetings. One, we had a special meeting on April 18th, and that was to discuss the opportunity to purchase 3 Ford E-Transit cargo vans at a local dealership offered at a very reduced rate to replace 3 20-plus-year-old cargo vans that were in definite disrepair. The committee did approve the purchase of the 3 Ford E-Transit cargo vans using 2024 miscellaneous vehicle funds. And then we also had a regularly scheduled meeting on May 7th. Those notes are not included in here. They aren't produced and approved by the committee chair yet. But we had a lively discussion about a rumor that was started that GRF was looking to get rid of the bus program. We had a lot of wonderful input by the community, and whose concerns and comments were heard and very much appreciated by the committee. We are moving forward with plans for the bus program. Report of the Security and Community Access Committee by President Choi Ho.
Okay, what?
Question on the trucks?
Yeah.
Did you mention that this was taken out of the 2024 budget?
That's what it says.
So we had enough to cover the $151,000 left over in that budget to cover it?
Yep.
So it does not affect our...
2024 CIP miscellaneous vehicles funds.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the Security and Community Access Committee had met April 23, and we had a staff report 2026 capital plan proposal, particularly on the purchase of e-bike. E-bike will be used by some of the patrol members, so it will be a good way of doing the patrolling thing rather than walking and so on. So they decided to purchase 2 e-bikes and related equipment. And then capital purchase for gate automation. There were a lot of discussion going on. I mean, how are we going to provide us the efficient service for the gate system? And they discussed some of the gate will be, hopefully they do all automation, so no personal, service will be provided there. But we discussed about some of the employment. Part-time employees by the resident, they will lose such a job. But nothing has been finalized yet. And so more information will be provided. The chair of the committee, he is very, very, very working very hard. He visit every gate, and he talked to the company and so on. So we are looking for the proposition what they're going to do that. So still a lot of people are complaining some of the gates, they are opening up too late, too fast and whole thing, and some of the gates are broken and so on. So hopefully by improvising any kind of efficient way of operating all the gates that we have. So, and capital purchase for body armor. Again, the patrol officers and security officers, they have some the body armor which they wear. So they are purchasing some different type of thing. 33 security personnel with a safe life, defense, tactical uniform style enhancement, multi-threat vessel level 3A plus. So they have all different kind of model, but they decide to spend about $24,707 for the year. And staff report elimination of a traffic school. Yeah, that is the decision has been made. The traffic school is not very efficient at all. And so they decide to remove it because they are costing, and it's not very effective. So definitely that is done. The total cost to put on traffic school was $13,508 per year, but it doesn't do anything to for the resident to reduce their ticket, anything like that. So we decided to remove that program. All right, that was about it, and we are meeting, next meeting will be June 25th at 1:30 p.m. Okay, we'll complete
I have
my
a
report.
suggestion about the gate problems. Slow down. I see so many people just like gunning their engines, waiting for those gates to go open. Everybody just slow down. Sorry. Moving on.
Yeah,
have a question.
Well, she has a question.
No, you do.
Oh, okay, yes. I got an email last month about one gate takes 3 seconds to rise, and I thought, 3 seconds, oh, definitely, it must be changed, it must be changed. We all have to get through in less than 3 seconds. I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine that we spend one dime to go a faster lift of the gate. Thank you. I mean, and I don't know how they're going to manage to get the guest passes all checked and everything by something else, but God bless them if they
I will come
figure
up
that one
and
out.
see.
Thank you.
Okay,
Let's see what they do.
all
All
right.
right. Moving to Laguna Woods Village traffic hearings, Director Kale.
So we had a very, very long and contentious traffic hearing last month. And like you said, the 3 seconds or whatever, we had, I think, 5 people showing up saying, yeah, I didn't make a full stop after they were shown the video and they, but it's unfair because it's whatever. Okay, so what's wrong about, I mean, what is it that you don't understand? It looks like at gate 14, you know, there's a little patch when they come out of the gate before they hit El Toro. And they have the cop standing there. So it's unfair because now it's out of Laguna Woods. I said, no, it's not. Until you hit El Toro, the thing it is, they were fighting about that. It was a very amusing meeting last time. Very, very amusing.
I'll bring popcorn next time.
Really. So anyway, we're meeting again, I think on the 15th, if I'm not mistaken. No, 21st.
May 21st.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I can't wait to hear next month's
Oh.
update. Any questions for Director Kale? Report of the Disaster Preparedness Task Force. Back to Director Willis.
Yeah, that last met on March 27th, and it meets this month on the 27th. Excuse me, last month was, or March was the 25th. So this month is the 27th, and it's at 9:30 in the morning in this boardroom.
Any questions or comments? No? And finally, last but not least, the report of the Information Technology Advisory Committee, ITAC. Director Tuning.
Yeah, the ITAC committee switched to every other month, so we didn't meet in April. That's primarily because the ERP system implementation is going in smaller chunks now compared to the financial system that kind of got turned on all at once. So next meeting's at the end of the month, May 30th.
Thank you, Director Tuning. Any questions? No? All right. That's it for committee highlights and updates. Future agenda items. Should I read the whole thing?
Yeah.
All matters listed under future agenda items are resolutions on 28-day public review or items for a future board meeting. No action will be taken by the board on these agenda items at this meeting. The board will take action on these items at a future board meeting. And yet we took action. I voted.
That's right. Okay.
So the only one that we didn't address is a governance report oral discussion by Director Blackwell.
Okay.
All right. Moving on, 2 minutes per director. Moving on to directors. Anthony.
Tony.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I was moved by the mobility clinic, the GRF clinic, and I'm concerned because VMS proposed 6 options for us with this bus thing. And we went through it pretty quickly. And even though it's a GRF committee, I know the people in United are going to be really affected by these proposed cuts. So I don't know what we can do, maybe a town hall or something to go through it with them. They want to consolidate this, consolidate that. They also are talking about putting a route over to the Arbor, which is, so I think it might be something we could think about. Thank you.
I think a town hall on that is absolutely in order, especially for our the people that use it within the community. And I actually would highly recommend that all of us get a bus buddy and go on the buses. I know I told my husband, Jim, we're gonna definitely take a field trip and go and use our transportation system. So it's important. Yes, ma'am.
I don't think you can have a United bus meeting.
Well, just
It's
town hall
GRF. It's GRF's property, it's GRF's buses, it's GRF's responsibility. I do not see that United could possibly hold a United meeting.
Could we
on-
invite somebody to
on
present to us from
transportation.
staff?
You could
the
probably
committee?
ask GRF if they would like to run a town hall with us on it. That would be possible, but it is totally under the GRF umbrella. There is no branch of it that is over for us.
And I believe Tony has a comment.
Yeah, we're not talking about telling GRF what to do. What I'm talking about is an informational town hall. GRF can be there, but they don't have to be there. I think, though, for the people in United, they should know what's in the plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other director's comments?
Yeah, again, relating to that town hall, I've been always very picky about the United Mutual town hall meeting. We cannot speak about GLF issues, so on. It's a governance issue, and it's a constitutional, structure issue. So we need to be very careful about it. So when we are dealing with, our United Mutual resident will be affected a lot about. But again, as Ms. Maggie suggested, that we like to talk to GLF board and work together and have our concerns, our residents' interest to them, and how can we work corporately.
I think we can possibly say to GRF, we would like an bus information meeting for our town hall, and have them do that.
Perfect.
Just back to Director Tuning's comment regarding the ERP. These continuous delays in the ERP system are quite concerning, because we were supposed to get efficiencies from that system, which we are not getting. The financial statements are not getting hard closes, apparently because of the delays in the ERP. So I'm not sure about what's going to happen in the next months and quarters with regard to the ERP, and whether we're going to get any benefit this year at all from that. Thanks.
Director Tuning?
According to the staff, the plan is to have everything implemented by the end of the year. I think that's their intention in that. I think my personal belief, it'll be a cost overrun, even though they're within budget right now. And maybe the contingency money will be enough. The schedule, these kind of programs tend to be longer than anticipated, because testing's quite extensive usually. So even though the plan is the end of the year and within budget, I would not be surprised if it goes longer and requires a little more money. But they're doing a good job, but implementation takes a lot of testing.
Thank you. Any other director's comments? Director Qualm.
Yes, I sorry to do this so late in the day. I know people are exhausted, and if anyone is still watching at home, this is important. There's big discussions about cutting Medicaid, and if that could impact our community, because we are a disadvantaged community, meaning that we have many low-income seniors. And cul-de-sac, Congressional District 40, key facts. Medi-Cal enrollees are about 157,000. 21% of those are residents. Medi-Cal hospital visits are about 142,000, which is 23% of all visits. It goes on and on. If you are concerned about this, and I think we should be contacting our congressional representatives, both the Senate and the House. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Kwong, for the greater good. Any other before we recess? Nope. Then we are in recess, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, 1:10 or 1:15, whatever is easy.
Okay, we will be recessed until 1:10 for lunch. Thank you.